Now, before we go any further, I want to talk about an important issue. I've always been more interested in why customers buy, the psychology of it, the theory behind it, and the practice of it. So customers buying is something that interests me. So I tend not to focus on selling things to people. I tend to focus on, selling is a process that you do. You put the customer through your selling process. And I don't always agree with that. I tend to take the view is my job is to help the customer through their buying process. So it's about what they're doing. It's about the journey they're going through and helping them through the journey that they're going through, not forcing them through some sort of journey that I want them to go through. So focusing on the buy rather than the sell. But why? Okay, so this was done from a piece of research done years ago. I think it was done in the United States. And what they did is they went to professional buyers. We're not talking about consumers. We're talking about professional buyers in professional organizations. These are cold-hearted professional buyers. They're not going to be triggered by emotion very easily. They do a job and they do it rationally. And the question is, why have you changed a supplier in the last 12 months? And if so, why? And they got the following answers. 1% of the people they were dealing with, the salespeople they were dealing with, or the business people they were dealing with, had died. As regrettable as that is, but that, part of life. 3% of the people they were dealing with had changed jobs or moved away, and thus they changed supplier. Noticeably, though, in that 4%, they were dealing with the salesperson, not the company they represented. So, interesting. It's personal relationships make a difference. 5%, and only 5%, change to favour friends. And people think that's low. And I go, why? Why, you know your friends, okay? So you've got a supplier who's doing everything right. They're delivering the goods on time every time. Why would you change that to bring in a friend who may not do the job as well? So, people make rational choices here. The favouring friends is usually a situation where they're not happy with, so they don't have a good working relationship with the current suppliers, or it's just not working, or they just don't feel well, and a friend comes in and goes, yeah, we can do that for you, and away you go. 9% changed for better prices. Now, the first reaction I get when I say that in class is shock. Because if I asked them what percentage of people change for better prices, they'd come up with kind of 85, 90%. But no. Why? Well, as I said, you're a business. You have a supplier. The supplier you've been working with for years. You know them, they know you. Something goes wrong at an operations level, the operations person can lift the phone and talk to the supply or distribution guy in the other company or girl in the other company and go, listen, Joe, I got a real problem. This thing needs to be fixed. Is there any chance you can get me that part by this afternoon? Joe goes, look, there's no way I can get it to you this afternoon, but I can guarantee it to you by 9 o'clock next morning. 9 o'clock next morning, part arrives. You take that company out, that you cut that company supplier out of your distribution chain, and what happens? You put in this new business that nobody knows. So you have this black box now attached to your organization. Something happens, part is needed, nobody knows who to lift the phone and talk to. What happens is an email goes from the floor to the management. Your management goes to their management goes down to the floor in their new company. A solution is provided, an email goes to their bosses go to your boss, and the things come down to you. It can take 6, 12 months for those kind of relationships to build up. And there's a massive opportunity cost built in to changing suppliers. So professional business people know that you only get rid of a company if you have to. Okay, so if your suppliers are doing the job, they're very unlikely to change. And coming in and say, well, I can save you 3 or 4% in price, but I'm going to cause you, 12 months of utter chaos in your distribution chain. It's just not worth it. There is, of course, one example where that's not the case. When you're unhappy with the supplier